All right, everybody, welcome back. Welcome back to the garage. Welcome back. So we're talking hydroplanes as usual, but today we're doing a little bit of shop talk, and I wanted to go over something. So we're putting together this boat for a customer, and it's pretty much ready to go for rigging. And this is going to be a stock boat. And what I wanted to talk about is these strakes over here in the tunnel, which create lift out of the hull. The hull lifts out of the water because of these, because the air goes into here and creates a tunnel for the air to run through, which lifts the boat. Now, in the stock version, this works pretty well. It helps the boat lift out of the water, considering we're only running a small power plant. But when you get to the more high-powered versions, what tends to happen is the motor itself, the propellers that we're using, automatically lift the boat up. And what happens, the air gets trapped in here and creates more lift than what we actually want. So theoretically, we want to modify a hull and remove these. So we started doing that last night, and we're going to do some testing to see how it works out, because what I wanted to do is this boat right here that we've been working on that we were going to trash. I wanted to show you guys a couple things with it. One, we did this repair right here, and we fixed the seam right over there, and I wanted to show you guys how easy it is to spray a gel coat. But I was thinking last night that I wanted to modify this hull, and I also wanted to show you guys how easy it is to modify the hull. And if you want to overpower your boat, you're going to be fighting a losing battle when the hull itself wants to lift out and your boat is overpowered. You're going to end up dipping into the water eventually and nosediving, which can cause the seam to come apart over here, you know, crashing into the water at like 50 plus miles an hour over and over. You know, it's going to eventually fail. So what I was going to do and what we're still going to do, but before we get there, we're going to do something else. I'm going to show you guys how to gel coat that, and we'll get to that in another video. We're going to spray gel coat it, by the way. But right now, I wanted to show you what I started to do over here. I started to remove the lifting strakes. And this is a quick and easy tip. So right here, what I got is we are almost down to 0 right over here. At the top, we're not. At the back, we almost are pretty much. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to keep sanding this and expose it kind of just the way it is, but still lift it just a little, still leave it just a little proud. I would say like 1 millimeter proud. And we're going to fill this inside with a resin mixture and let that cure. And then when we remove our tape, our resin should be flush with this, but we should have some thickness inside the hull that we're going to be able to sand this down. So we're going to get this completely flush all the way through up till here, and we'll seal that up. And we might actually do some sponson modifications as well while we're at it. So we're going to check that out. So right now, what we're going to do is we're going to keep sanding this just a little bit more right over here. Actually, this side I'm okay with that. And we're going to keep sanding this side just a little more and prepare it for the resin. So stick around, guys. Stick around. All right, here we go. We're ready to keep sanding. So I'll show you what I do. I take a block with some 60 grit sandpaper, and I just go through it like that. Now I'm going to do this off camera because it's going to get super dusty in here, and it's pretty self-explainable. And I'll show you how it is when it's done. So you see just a little proud, and you'll understand why when we start sanding it again on the next stage. If you haven't caught on just yet, we'll keep moving at it together. All right, guys. So yeah, let's do it. So this one has also a little more to go right over here. We're almost flush down there, and we're about 1 millimeter over here and about 3 millimeters right up here. We're going to keep sanding it. Now I can hit it with like a grinder or something like that, or a pneumatic wheel, but I like doing it. I think by hand you're going to get the best results so that you don't gash through this, and you're going to keep the form of the actual hull. You're not going to lose form the way we're doing this, which is why we're keeping this a little proud right now. Okay, guys, we're back. So you see how I left it a little proud, just a little bit, right? And what we're going to do now is we're going to tape the boat up from the outside. So we're going to take some masking tape. Let me fix that right there. So we'll take some masking tape real quick. Super easy, super simple. Nothing special about it. Take our masking tape, right? And we're going to just tape it over this back side right over here. We're going to start right over there and follow our line that was proud. And we'll just stick it on just like that. Now what that does is create a barrier for our resin to not come out the other side, right? And when we lay the resin in from the inside and we lay it thicker, we'll have a nice little thick area to be able to sand down from the outside. So that's one side just like that. Nothing special, just some masking tape. And we'll get this other side. And then we'll mix up our resin. And I sanded down these sponsons a little bit because I'm going to do a sponson modification too. I'm going to close these up and I'm going to raise this part of the sponson and create a type of step over here. So that when she does dip, the higher elevation here theoretically will hold her rather than let her dip. We'll see. We don't know. That's why we're doing these mods, because we're checking it out. We want to improve the modified version because the hull is not designed for running with that power and at those speeds, to tell you the truth. Anything above 45 miles an hour, where Ironclad is already in the 60s, I'm in the low 50s, Mad Lizard's in the low 50s with it. At this point, I think we need hull modification. So that's it. So here you go. See that? Just taped it up. And you see, you can now see how proud we are. All right. So we're just going to little mix again. And that is looking really good, guys. Look at that. That's kind of how you want it. So you can brush it in and it's wet enough that when you push it down, and gravity will help it go down into the tray of the boat, because we're going to end up leaving it like this. So we'll put this aside real quick. Actually, we'll put it away so we don't breathe this in. So Cabasil is like I don't know, it's like a pulverized filler, some kind of material. Silica, that's what it's called. Okay, so here we go. Catalyst. And not too hot. All right. Now you remember, it's okay if you put less catalyst in it. Something to note, resin eventually hardens. Polyester resin actually eventually hardens without catalyst. It'll just take a hell of a lot longer. So look at that consistency, guys. That's exactly what you want. Exactly what you want. All right, so I'll take my handy dandy brush, and this time I actually took a note from Ironclad and cleaned them, because I'm sick and tired of buying these things. So take a little bit at a time, and we're going to start working right into here, just like that. Want to build it up. First get that nice layer down in there. And here we go. Now we're just going to chunk this in here a little bit. See that, how I'm doing that? Just floating it in. This is also going to take away from any flex we have down there as well. It's going to give it some structural rigidity. See, so you get your first layer in, and then you just kind of start floating the thicker layer above it. It's giving us a lot more surface area inside the boat to be able to sand this down from the outside and have material inside so it doesn't create those gaping holes like we have right now that we're actually filling. Hard to get into that little area right there. But here we go. There. Now if you do this right, you won't have to add any material from the outside. All we'll do is we'll do some sanding. And because we're proud, remember? So now when we start sanding, we're not going to keep penetrating into the hole anymore. Now just start floating that in there up there, see? It gives us nice area to work with now from the outside. I would say in about an hour, we can peel that tape off. And we'll see what it looks like. Here, I'm going heavy right here because this is where the strake starts and is the thickest. So we need this material right over here. And yeah, what we mixed is literally just enough for this one side. Float that in there, nice. Nice smooth transitions. And the best part is it was easy. And when we're all said and done with this boat that was going to be thrown away, that we literally were about to toss it in the trash, we're going to make this boat potentially stronger and faster than all the rest of the hydros in my little fleet. And that's it. And this one I'm now throwing away. All right, you see that? Nice and thick. And it's just gonna sit. We're just gonna let that sit. And then when we start sanding this from the outside, we have this thickness here because we completely took that lifting strake out now. All right, so we're gonna let this cure and we'll do it again in a second. We probably should do that side right now, but gotta mix more and I just took my gloves off. So we'll be back in a second and we'll do this side. All right, guys, we're back. Everything looks nice and dry. It's not ready to sand just yet. I ended up doing this side as well. And what we're going to do is we're going to peel it off. And we're going to see what we're working with. Beautiful. It's exactly what I wanted. Now when that cures, we'll be able to dry that. We'll be able to sand that up. Let's see here. Hold on. When that cures, we'll be able to sand that and bring it down to 0. There you go. Perfect. Perfect. So I'm going to let this cure for one more day, and we're going to hit that again with some 60 grit sandpaper. All right, guys, we're back. I came to check on this. It's pretty much ready to sand right now. It's pretty late at night right now, so I'm not going to start sanding this, but I wanted to show you guys what I've been up to. So if we're going to modify this hull, then we're going to modify this hull. Besides taking out the tunnel, what we're going to do is we're going to create some steps in the sponsons, and we're going to remove these steps from the non-trips. So we'll see how that goes. What I did here is I just glued some wood down. I shaped it a little bit to, to kind of fit, and we're going to fill that up, sand that down, and create a step. So we'll see everybody tomorrow morning, and we'll get to it.